Control is opposed to evolution. Control is opposed to evolution. Control is opposed to evolution. Evolution does not invite your control. The reason why you're angry is because you tried to control things. That's why you're angry. You're angry because control is futile, Earthling. You know what they'd say back in the 1950s in those Martian invades Earth movies? Resistance is futile, Earthling. All jokes aside, control is futile, Earthling. The idea that you think you can control things, and then when it turns out you couldn't control it, you got angry. Why were you trying to control everything? Why were you trying to control things? Control is opposed to evolution. In Vedic meditation, we employ this. We don't use the principle of the futile attempt to control. I call it the futile attempt to control because it never actually works. No control actually ever happens. You think you're controlling somebody? They're simply being a peacemaker and giving you the impression you're controlling them while you're watching. When you don't watch, they behave the way they want to behave. You're not actually controlling them. You're just building an illusion around control. Control not only is opposed to evolution, control is a completely dysfunctional behavior because it doesn't work. You can't actually control it. The universe, our big universal intelligence, already is in control of everything. And for individuality to attempt to wrest control from the evolutionary process and to apply control, and then when it doesn't work, you get angry. Anger is the sensation that you get when it was very predictable that you attempted to control and it didn't work. That's when you get angry. Think about that next time you're angry. What was it, or who was it, about which and about whom you had inaccurate expectations that you were going to be able to control? And then when you see that you're angry because you didn't control, you failed to control, then, your anger is really just nature reflecting back to you, this was a failed approach. Stop trying to control. So then, I want to control anger. Well, that's going to fail too. Controlling was the thing that you did that started the cascade in the first place. Attempting to control things caused you to feel angry. Now you want to control anger itself? You're just setting yourself up for more of it. So let's let go of the need to control. In Vedic meditation, we don't use control, we use effortlessness. We let go of all control. We let go of all control. Our mind has a natural tendency embedded in it. It's worked right into the fabric of the human mind. The tendency naturally for the mind, whenever it can identify an option, it will always move in the direction of greater happiness. Greater happiness. You're listening to music in this room, and it has a certain level of enticement. And then from another room, a beautiful, lilting, charming melody that is so delightful to your senses begins to waft in. Now suddenly this music, by comparison, is mediocre. That music is fantastic. I don't have to concentrate and control in order for my mind to gravitate in the direction of the more charming music. It just does it by itself. When I like this happening, I call it attraction. I was attracted to the more charming music. If I don't like it happening, because maybe for music appreciation homework for the course I'm taking, I'm required to listen to the boring music over here, then I refer to the more attractive music as distraction. Attraction when I like it, distraction when I don't like it. But it's all traction. Traction means pulling. Our mind is being pulled. Whether I find it attractive or I find it distracting it's all being pulled like that. I'm being pulled. I'm being pulled by the mind's natural tendency. Now people identify this and say, well, that's a problem. This tendency of the mind to move towards whatever's more charming. Surely we have to whip the mind and break its tendency to be attracted or distracted. Whip it. Punish the mind. Force it to concentrate and stop all that attracting, distracting thing. In Vedic meditation, we harness it. There's the mind, thinking, and then close the eyes, sitting comfortably in the chair, back supported, upright, head free, and then you introduce the beautiful little mantra that you've been given by a qualified Vedic meditation teacher. You introduce it, and then there's an innocent way in which you use that. I'm not going to try to describe it all here. You can learn this when you learn the technique properly. Methodology of using the mantra is even more important than the mantra itself. But mantra is very important, pivotal. But if you don't know how to use it properly, it's completely useless. You have a car sitting out there and all that, beautiful car, fantastic car, but you don't have the key. If you don't have a key, that car is no good to you. It's a fantastic vehicle. It's a very big part of what you're intending to do, but no key, it's useless having the car, right? Technique is absolutely pivotal to the methodology of using the vehicle of experience, the mantra. And so then the mantra itself has an inherent and inbuilt native quality that when effortlessly it's experienced in a particular way, the mantra starts to change in its characteristic in terms of becoming more and more lilting, charming, fascinating to the mind. More fascinating than all the other thoughts you've been having. And the mantra draws the mind inward because the mantra continuously gets subtler, softer, fainter, and quieter. And as it does this, it's approaching the charm field. There's bliss underlying the whole thinking process, intrinsic bliss, supreme inner contentedness. As the mind begins to progress in the direction of the bliss, the charm of the impulse of the mantra becomes greater and greater. Very important not to try to control anything. You do not need to control. No effort is required. Effortlessness is required. The mind spontaneously, using its own nature, is about to go into oneness with the unified field consciousness. Any amount of control drives you back to the surface immediately. Control is opposed to evolution. So in Vedic meditation, as we practice it every morning and every evening for 20 minutes on a regular basis, we start to learn the lesson of not needing to control everything. Just as in meditation, there is an inbuilt nature, outside of meditation, there's also an inbuilt nature. The nature of things in the way that they interact and interplay, the play and display of the creative intelligence of nature does not require you to control it. It is invitational to you. It will invite you in to play. If you feel like you have to control things in order to get done what you think needs to be done because you've got your fancy little pros and cons list, here's all the pros, here's all the cons, and this is what everybody needs to be doing. And then, you cannot achieve control. Now you get all angry. You turn into a big red-faced monster. And now you want to know how to control that. Control. Let go of the whole control thing. This is the answer.